Today, I'd like to talk to you about purposeful teaming and specifically the importance of meetings in the practice of purposeful teaming. So first of all, what do I mean by purposeful teaming? So let me take a look at my notes and share with you the definition that I crafted over the years and that aligns with the methodology of strategic narrative. So purposeful teaming is the deliberate process of forming, managing, and maintaining a team aligned with your perspective and focused on achieving your vision. This alignment creates a consistent narrative within the organization, empowering everyone to advocate for the company's vision and goals. Alignment occurs when there is enough occasions, enough opportunities to share everybody's point of view. And typically that happens during meetings, during interactions, most likely in synchronous communication. We can chat, we can talk, whether you are online or in person. But being in person helps with this kind of work because when you're in person, you can read your colleagues a lot faster, a lot better, a lot deeper than when you are online. But that subject might be for another day. The kind of meeting you want to think about is basically, there's different kinds of meetings, but there are two main kinds of meetings that I'd like to suggest that you explore and you experiment with. The first kind is the typical agenda-driven meeting. And I say typical, although it's also typical to see many meetings without an agenda, whereas they should have an agenda. But the agenda-driven meeting enables to focus on the elements that the team want to discuss, review, or work together, collaborate together, and make sure that the topics are aligned with the direction of the company and where it needs to make the most traction. I want to remind you that strategic narrative is the methodology designed to grow narrative power and therefore align a team, align a company, even if you're on your own, make sure it's focused and build traction. Because when you grow narrative power, you have a stronger ability to defy the normal when the normal is wrong. And that's a big task. So that's why you need to stay aligned and keep gaining momentum. Now, agenda-driven meeting really help you keep that focus. I've been working with several teams in my team on a mission consulting program over the years, and I have taught them how to design a proper agenda when they start the meeting. It doesn't need to be overthought a lot of time in advance, days in advance. I've seen this, and in some corporations, that's a requirement, that's a need. But even if you start a meeting, spend a few minutes crafting an agenda together. Most of the time, you will see people's reaction spontaneously steering you towards diving into the topics right away. But keep things at a high level for a few minutes and jot down the topics that needs to be addressed and facilitate that choice based on the alignment that you want to create. Agenda-driven meeting offer a great structure, ensure that we are efficient with time and that we cover the things that need to be covered to operate the business of today, the current version of your business. So making sure that not only you have a narrative that people are excited about, that you mobilize people, but also that you cover operational topics that make sure that you deliver your promise, you deliver on your promise. The second kind of meetings is more open, way more open than the first kind. And I wrote an article in 2021 that I called the five rules to fix your dysfunctional teams. 5 rules you fix your dysfunctional meetings. And those rules come from the concept of open space technology. I'm also reading my notes here to make sure that I give you proper reference to this open space technology that you And you can read about on Wikipedia if you'd like. It's from a book by Harrison Owen, who created the open space technology framework, and that gives you 5 principles to run meeting, during which there is a structure, but not as apparent as in an agenda-driven meeting. There is a structure that relies more on people's ability to self-regulate and the ability of the group to let the topic emerge. The topics emerge based on whatever needs to happen in that moment. So let me read those rules to you. There are 5 rules. Did I say 7? I think I'm sorry. There are 5 rules. The first one is whoever comes are the right people. The second one is wherever it is the right place. So those 2 rules here, those 2 first rules here already gives you a sense that this kind of meeting is really meant to let whatever needs to happen with whoever needs to happen, wherever it needs to happen, emerge that day based on the needs of people, very spontaneously. Whatever happens is the only thing that could have happened, is the third rule. The fourth rule is whenever it starts is the right time. And the fifth rule is whenever it's over, it's over. That particular structure is really designed to help you get creative, to help you maximize the impact of the energy that is present in the room with the group that is present, wherever it is present, at the moment when it's present. It's really tied to the concept of evolutionary purpose, which emerges who knows when. You can't force really the realization and the aha moment that the practice of evolutionary purpose requires. You can't force it. You have to go with the flow. And that's what the concept of open space technology is about. It provides more context and more information, and it lets the door open to inspiration, to creativity, to reinventing some norms. Therefore, it aligns with narrative power in the sense that it creates the energy that your company needs to defy the norms that are wrong, that you want to stand up against. The problem I see in most organizations is that there is very little awareness about which kind of meeting to choose from. Should we be structured? Should we be regimented and disciplined and go with an agenda-driven meeting? Or should we let things happen because we're humans and we are, like the open space technology says, we're tied to whatever energy we live by that day. I see a lot of confusion. One or the other, one is not better than the other. Both of them, both styles are very important. And I like to switch to styles when I work with teams. I like to suggest that maybe depending on the needs, we of course have an agenda, but at some point we also switch gear, and possibly not during the same meeting. It's better to change setting, maybe let the group form more organically. So these are some observations that I noticed when building narrative power for an organization. It's not something that you do at the push of a button. You can't be too rigid with that exercise. It's a bit of a messy process too, but you have to let things happen a bit organically, just like you want to let a forest grow, right? You can't control a forest too much. You can organize it a bit, you can plant specific trees, you can clean it out, but you have to let it grow the way it wants to grow, to observe and to let emerge the fabulous energy of a forest. I think it's a great metaphor that I just came up with, by the way, for your organization. If you want your organization to be inspired, to work purposefully around a common mission, and to organize purposefully around a narrative that everybody shares, you have to let things happen organically. But at the same time, you have to provide a structure when it's needed. So with that, I hope that this framework, those two types of meaning, provides an interesting frameworks and kind of a concept of a continuum you can use to better work with your team, work more efficiently, and turn your operations into more purposeful activities and turn your team into really a purposeful team.